Give me a second to swallow.
Yeah.
You've said that before.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling. I'm your host, Mark Riccadonna, and with me, as always,
Richie Byrne. What the hell was that? Byrne.
Burn.
We're going right to the guest.
right to the guest.
Right to the guest. Ladies and gentlemen, Dustin Chafin. What's up, brother?
That's hilarious. That's like when you show up at the club and somebody's late. You're like, you're on, dude. You're on.
Go.
Get up.
Go.
You're next.
The MC's bringing you on as you're walking through the
As
door.
you walk in, they're just bringing you up. You're next.
Can I take my jacket off? No,
Yeah.
I'm on.
You don't have time to pee. You're just holding a pee the whole set. You're like, man. That's like, can I just get ready? A little prep? Jeez.
You ever have that happen where when I was really new in the business, so it's like 1952.
This was back in black and white.
Jack Benny brought him up.
Well, I was opening, and it was down in Wildwood, and it was me, Brad Lowry, and Tommy. What am I
Too
playing?
smooth.
Tommy. Oh, he was really funny guy, nice guy. I can't think of his last name.
I'm sure he had a nickname, Tommy T-Bone.
No. Anyway, they drove down together, and they were incredibly late. I don't know what happened, but they were incredibly late, and they made me go up, and I only had like 20 minutes, and I had to do like almost an hour, and the audience knew like this is the opening act, and he really doesn't have the time, but we're hoping these guys get. So finally, the other two guys show up, and they like throw up Bradley, and they hated Bradley because he was late. And then they throw up Tommy. They hated Tommy because it was like that's the worst feeling. Like that. Like you guys and they weren't mad at me. They were mad. They were like, "How dare you do that to this poor guy?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how Richie gets his following.
Pathetic.
I did a gig one time, a little Roger Paul special, and
Nice.
don't mean to name drop.
Yeah.
But it was somewhat, and I was literally, I didn't even have 20 minutes. I probably had 12. And I was emceeing it, and I think the late Mike Robles was headlining, and his feature was supposed to be with him. And it was somewhere Jersey or wherever. These things are all a blur, And so I got there, and I was the only comic there. Show's supposed to start, and it's like we're an hour in. Show hasn't started. The headliner's not there. The feature's not there. I'm there, MC, just nervous, whatever. And finally, they're like, "All right, we have to give these people some comedy." So I thought of this genius idea. I was like, "How about this? Like, I'll go on at the end, but let's, if anybody has a joke, they can go up and tell the joke, like, audience members." So I had audience members just go up and like tell their jokes.
Right.
I love
kind of
that.
what Richie does on this show. And so they get up and they're telling jokes, and I can't follow them because people are crushing with these like, "Would the defendant please rise?" Puerto Rican jokes or whatever. And it's like they're just racist and hilarious, and I can't follow any of it. And I just tank for like 27 minutes is all I could muster up on stage to do. I was so bad. I loved it.
I did a show in Elmira, New York for Wisecrackers. They have a theater there. Yeah. And it was me, Mike Burton, and Vinny Nardiello. And when we get to the hotel, they tell us that after the show was in a theater. After the show, we have to go back to the hotel and go to the bar and like hang out with the people. I don't know. No one told us about this. This like party. And so we're like, what?
VIP ticket.
They go, no, people are going to come back from the theater. They're going to hang out at the hotel bar, and you have to hang out with them. You have to pretty much perform again. So we didn't know what to do. So we decided to just tell jokes, street jokes.
Nice.
So I would tell a street joke. The audience would laugh. Burton would tell a street joke, the audience would laugh. Naughty Yellow would tell a street joke, crickets.
Appropriate
This
response.
happened 3 times. I would get a laugh. Mike would get a laugh. It was like, remember Daffy Duck couldn't follow Bugs Bunny? That's what it looked like. He just couldn't.
Yeah, well, street jokes. Yeah, I mean, there's a gift to it. You know, I feel like people are. My brother is incredible at like racist street jokes and different. You know, those. Yeah, it's incredible. Like Bill Burr said, like the structure and the timing on some of those jokes.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just pretty phenomenal. But not just anybody can throw off a good street joke.
Well, Naughty Yellow can't.
I love listening to somebody tell a street joke, especially if they're a comic, because it's like hearing somebody tell it's like going and seeing a singer sing a standard song.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, let's hear Dustin Chafin's version of My Way.
Yeah, I could probably pull that off. But I think I got that Sid Vicious mentality. But my favorite is like as soon as you get off stage, somebody wants to tell you a street joke, and you're like, "Come on, dude!" Like,
right?
They have like 3 in a row. You're like, "I just got off. I
know.
Good up there. Like, why can't you just talk about my jokes?"
I know. I love when they tell you can use that. You're like, "Did you not see my hour show? Did I tell one street joke in that time?" So you did Dry Bar. How was that, bro? Tell us about Dry Bar.
Yeah, I did a Dry Bar comedy special. I filmed it a while ago and filmed it in May, and it's just out coming out, which it's so funny. This business just stresses you out. You know, I talked to another comedian. His didn't come out for like 2 years, and I was like, oh, man, this thing's never coming out.
Yeah. Well, I think, didn't COVID screw them up or something? I know people were waiting.
Things have happened. I have a friend who did Colbert a year ago. It finally came out. Like, some things just happen like that. So anyway, it's just nice that the relief of something coming out is great.
But I think something that's pretty amazing is your personal journey of Provo, Utah.
Sure. We've talked. I know Richie and I. Did we all 3 do the thing where we talked about me being a missionary to Mormon?
Yes.
And all that?
You were actually so Dustin. You were one of our. You might have been our first guest when we first started doing. Drink, Strokes, and Storytelling,
and the comic strip,
and you told that story, and I couldn't breathe for 4 days. I laughed so hard.
And what made that so amazing was you and I did a storytelling show, and I never knew you as a storyteller.
Yeah, that was
your stand-up is just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
you know, you just come in and just set up punchline, and you were on the show, and I was like, this is going to be interesting. Not that I thought you would fail at it or anything, but
I'm still bad at stories. Yeah, go ahead.
I've never seen you do a story.
Yeah.
So you went up and told this story, and my jaw was on the ground because it was so interesting, and you were so funny while you were telling this interesting story. And I was like, Jesus, man, this guy's killing it with the stories now.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And for those who don't know, it's like, you know, there was a time in my life where, you know, to rebel against my drug addict, rock and roll parents, I went Mormon. And, I was like, that's going to show them.
I went Mormon.
Show this family. I won't get arrested. I'll be the rebel.
There he is.
So I did that journey, and I was a missionary and this whole thing. And so when I became a missionary for the Mormon Church, I had to go to the Missionary Training Center, which is in Provo, Utah. And the thing was, I was a convert, so I wasn't familiar with any of this stuff, meaning like I was like 2 years into Mormonism. Most of the people in this training center, you know, raised in Utah, raised in Idaho, like they're just Mormon their whole life. So none of this is weird. None of this is like overwhelming. They're just used to it. They've been preparing for this their whole life. And so it was crazy being in there, and you had to learn Spanish in 2 months, and they're going to ship me off to South America. And like, you know,
I was going to say, what the hell is Spanish have to do with it?
Yeah. And it's like, the whole thing is crazy. But I mean, I enjoyed it at the time, you know. It was like just people actually were nice to me, you know. That's the thing about it, you know. My family was ridiculous, so it's like the Mormons they take you in, they're like playing Trivial Pursuit, and they're just like you're eating meatloaf, and they're asking how your day was. I was like, I never had that, you know. Nobody got arrested, you know what I mean? Like, it was like this.
Nobody got arrested.
This is amazing. So So Provo is that to me. It's like this missionary training center. It's like where I became and learned how to be a missionary and all this stuff. And so there's all that history and everything. So, when this dry bar thing came up, I played a gig in Wise Guys in Salt Lake, and I guess the owner of the club, Keith Stubbs, he saw me and like he liked me, and we kind of and we actually bonded a little bit. On he went to like Honduras, I went to Chile on my mission, and so we talked about missions. You never think that's going to come up and stand up, where you're just going to use your Mormon,
your Mormon street cred.
Kind of wiggle away into a special, but
I was more of a doorbell guy, not a knocker.
I'm a whore. I'll do whatever, man. I don't care. People had to do worse to get specials.
Yes.
So,
yes.
But I've always liked the dry bar special, because I feel like they do a good job. It's like it's made well, and and then the idea of just the challenge of being clean has always been tough for me. Because I feel like I was raised by David.
I know you as uncensored comedy, Dustin Chafin.
Yeah,
you had the late night show.
Yeah, that was what I kind of used to just plug and present. Was just like let comics do what they want to do. There's no censorship and stuff. Yeah, and like David Tell, guys like that would just like take those are guys, Mark Maron, guys that just would just say whatever they wanted to say. It was who I was kind of like my peer, people I looked up to, or whatever. And so, so it was definitely, something I didn't know if I could do it or not. But, I've been touring with Nate Bargatze, who's this, big family friendly comedian. It's been amazing. And through him, he believed that I could pull it off. And so I've really had to work hard at it. Sometimes I'll slip. I'll be on stage. I'll be like, shit. And I'm like, I got to backtrack and be like, sorry about that,
Every dad in the room high fives the guy next to him.
You know what I found? You know what I found though, Dustin? I do a lot of senior shows, and you have to watch what you say. But once and I try and tell comics that once you're 10, 15 minutes in, if they like you, you can get away with just about anything. Once they like you, you know what I mean. Now,
if it's your show,
if it's your show,
like
that's
true.
You're
with
Nate.
Somebody, and that's their brand.
Right. That's true. That's a good point. But I've noticed that in the past that like if you go right up and hit them with an F-bomb, you're dead. But if they get to know you and like you, they can be, So I notice, like, I'll say to the audience, I'm going to tell you a joke. Do you want to clean it dirty? They're like, dirty.
Yeah, if it's you for sure. But I want the
That's
next
true.
gig.
You're working with Nate. That's true.
Yeah. These checks are great. It's like cruise money, and I don't have to be on a cruise.
I love it. It's awesome you have a special. And I actually, though I did write today on Facebook that everybody's talking about comedy specials, and I go, am I the weirdo? Am I the only one who doesn't watch comedy specials? Like,
I don't watch a lot of them either.
I can't. I get anxiety.
Carlin, I would always watch Carlin specials. I saw 3 of them live. Like, that was the one guy that I would always go to. Like, he was the only one that I would just like, best seats in the house, whatever money it took to get the tickets. Like, that was the guy I had to see.
Nate, but you said you saw Chris Rock's new one?
I did. Did you see it? Anybody?
No.
I did not watch.
Okay. I've heard mixed things about it.
Well,
go ahead.
I feel like I did a tweet today where I said, I feel like it's the truest, thing in stand-up comedy I've seen in a really long time. First of all, it's like, the balls to go live, because a lot of these celebrity comedians, it's like they have the perfect production crew. They have they've ran it 100 times. They have different crowds. They splice everything in. This was live, man. He was basically just like grabbing the mic in front of this crowd, and the crowd sucked. They were terrible. And so it's like there's moments in his set where I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? This is hilarious. And they're just kind of, because he's so edgy. But the thing is like this special is the Chris Rock we know. It's bigger and blacker. It's Bring the Pain. It's everything that we love about Chris Rock. Because the last special was like directed by Carmichael, whatever. And it was like it's a different, kind of a more vulnerable.
Polished.
Yeah, it's he's kind of doing something different, more one man showy. But this is Chris Rock. He's going in hard. He's hammering women, and the way he talks about the Will Smith thing is phenomenal, dude. It's so funny. So funny. It's the best thing I've seen in a long time.
Where did he do it? Do you know?
In Baltimore, which is weird. I thought
Right.
that crowd would be better, because black people live in Baltimore.
And they love laughing.
But they suck. Watch it, please.
I wonder why.
I want you to see how bad the crowd sucks. But he is perfect. But he messes up a joke, and he saves himself because it's
saw it,
live.
Tony?
Nope. Yeah, it's so fun though.
He messes up a joke.
Yeah, in the middle of it, because it's live, so there's nobody, fixing this. So it's a real stand-up moment because we all know what this is.
Mm-hmm.
Where you just say the punchline early or something, and you're like, oh, hold on a second, and he does that. So he just felt so real, just human, and just what it is to be a stand-up is really what this special is to me. And I just love Chris Rock because I think he's one of the few left. You know what I mean? There's Dice, but Dice is a shadow of himself. There's other guys that are still out there, but I feel Chris Rock is as close to that thing, Kinnison and all that we had, that's still there. And this special shows it. He's phenomenal in this. I love it. So funny.
Awesome.
All right, I'll check
I get
it out.
anxiety watching other comics because I start going, is this what I'm supposed to do? Maybe I'm not doing it right. Maybe I shouldn't be. Maybe this is. Do people talk about that? I don't know if I want to talk about that.
Yeah. If you watch a guy that you've hung out in a green room with, but when you watch Chris Rock, it's like watching Van Halen.
No, a legend is a different.
You know what I mean? You forget you're a comic when you watch Chris Rock.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most guys, I don't want to see, somebody I've done a fundraiser with, in Long Island. I don't want to see their special.
I don't want to watch the Rich Carucci hour.
Oh, great. Chris Monty.
Yeah, I'm not going to see the Chris Monty show. But Chris,
but in my head, I start going.
Love you, Chris.
when it's
Perfect name, by the way. You couldn't have come up with a better comic for this.
Well, he hangs out in every green room in the Northeast. I don't care what time of day and night it is. You go into a green room, Chris Monty's there with a cigar and a scotch.
Yeah, nobody's done more raffle stand-up than that guy. Nobody on the planet has done stand-up when there was a raffle involved than that guy.
Oh, that's funny.
There will be a 50-50 at the end of our show today.
And next week, Chris Monty will be our guest.
I hope so. And I mean that with love. I'm jealous.
No, I love. Yeah, I know.
He's making good money.
He's exactly. But you're right. I know. Let's just stop talking about it.
He's always been nice to me. He's a good dude, but that's still hilarious. He has to take it because that's hilarious.
All right. Now I don't like to watch a lot of stand-ups either, and I think part of it is Mark, like you said, a case of sometimes you see somebody and you just go, God damn, man, that is just unbelievable that he came up with this or she, and then other times you see people and go, what the fuck is this? And why are they famous? And what is going on? You know what I mean? And you can't just sit and enjoy it.
The jealousy bug bites me a lot when I watch people that I consider a peer.
Yeah.
And I see them, I tend to go in a jealous direction where I go, that's a bad premise. I don't want to do that kind of stuff. I don't want. And it's like, oh, Mark, you're just being jealous. Just shut up and enjoy somebody's success and work.
Yeah, I've never watched a stand-up special ever that there wasn't at least one moment in the act that I said, oh, that's a hack bit. Every single person I've ever seen do a stand-up special, and I've seen a lot of them. I'll always be like, oh, that's Carlin did that in 77 or whatever. I can always, every single special that I've seen some recent ones. Yeah. Even Chris Rock, there's one I'm like, oh, okay, I know somebody that did something, it's like, it doesn't matter. There's still some way I can find where it linked from.
Yeah. Well, and so you and I have a similar background where we've seen 1 billion hours of comedy because it was our jobs to be at the club and watching.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Oh, you're going to bring up that trauma, huh?
Let's open that scab.
That's why I left L.A. Get away from basement comedy and comic emails. Jeez Louise.
I still get them.
Do
I
you
haven't
really?
booked a club in 15 years, 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're from me.
Relentless. Yeah. Yeah, Richie will ask for a spot and not show up. That's what he does.
I did that Saturday here at Governor's. Now, talk about that. Talk about LA a little. What's the differences?
I love LA, man. It's like, I feel like New York was amazing. It's but I feel like I kind of did it. You know what I mean? New
Yeah.
York is kind of one of those places where you're like, all right, I've seen like 15 Broadway shows. I've seen 3 penises on the R train. I've eaten all the pizza I could eat.
Only
Like,
one
yeah,
of them was
it's
mine.
It's like, because when I got to New York, it was cool, man. It was CBGB's. It was Coney Island High. It was a Continental. It was like rock and roll. It was like, now it's Dwayne Reed's and sushi places. Like, it's just.
Where are you from originally, Dustin?
Texas, born and raised.
Oh, right. And when did you move to New York?
Late 90s.
Late 90s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Went to school. I went to Parsons. I went to art school in Manhattan.
Oh, okay.
Found comedy a little bit later. Yeah.
Okay. And then
whenever I run into people, I'll go, hey, man, you miss New York? And my answer is really, I miss the New York I moved to. I don't miss New York now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not cool anymore. I mean,
I
it's
don't
just
even
not.
think the scene is.
Richie, Dangerfield's broke my heart that's not there anymore.
Yeah, me too.
It's crazy
me
that's
too.
not there.
I know.
It's like,
see, I got to be honest, Dustin. I think that I hope I'm wrong, but I think the way of comedy in New York is going to go that way, like Caroline's, because you can't afford to have a big venue and just do it for one specific thing anymore. So I think
Dangerfield.
Yeah. But
they have like 6 people there on a Friday.
Dude, I just rewatched the Ben Creed episode, and you guys were talking about Dangerfields in its heyday. And I was like, man,
it was ridiculous.
I saw that.
Yeah.
It was.
I've only seen it in its dusty black and white.
It was a time when it just elevated so many people.
Yeah, it did. I remember it's so funny because I was living in Long Island. I live in Long Island. And so I would go to Dangerfields because it was right over the bridge, the 59th Street Bridge.
Yeah.
And then that was it. Like, I'd do my time and I'd be done, and I would never go downtown. I would once in a while I'd go to Gotham, maybe. And then I ran into Voss one time, and I said, I don't see you at Dangerfields anymore. He goes, well, I come in from the tunnel from New Jersey, and I'm downtown, and I don't want to go uptown. I go, I thought I was the only lazy bastard in the
Richie's on the Simon and Garfunkel comedy tour.
Yes, I do not go below 55th Street.
Hilarious. No, but I love that club. It's like they only book like 7 guys. So if you were one of the 7,
you got a lot of work. Yeah.
Life was good.
You know what I loved about it, Dustin? I love that I could walk in there on a Tuesday in front of 3 people and just do 25 completely new minutes if I want, and just get so much out of that.
Yeah, Tony got it. Like, it was just, it felt like family. Like you were part of this dysfunctional small family.
Yes.
And it was just like, if they liked you, they only liked you because you killed in front of them once. It wasn't about your credits.
That was it.
It wasn't about, if you crushed in front of them one time, then you were in. You were in.
Yeah.
But a lot of these audition guys couldn't crush that one time. And so, people had a hard time getting in there.
It was all about that. You're right. You had to crush that one. If you crushed in the right time when Tony was watching you, that was it. You were in. And you were in for like 10 years. You weren't going.
Most city clubs kind of look down on the road guys, whereas Dangerfields embraced it.
Yes.
Because they knew that a lot of their audience was going to be people from all over. And so they appreciated the good road comic. And I think a lot of the city clubs didn't. So
Right. Which is why a lot of comics look down on Dangerfields. But I was like, well, I'm working.
Yeah.
So
that's why a lot of guys can't do a fundraiser show with Chris Monty.
Right. No, you're right. Absolutely.
It's like they just die miserably when they leave Manhattan, or Brooklyn or whatever.
Well, and it's like there's road hack, there's city hack, there's what I mean. It's like you just got to be a good comic in general, and then you can take your act anywhere. But I found it interesting to see who worked where and how things like file down to like where they end up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, LA is interesting because being out here, it's like, I mean, you would think I was George Cullen on some of these shows because these kids don't know how to do comedy sometimes.
Right.
It's like they just got out of their modeling class and then.
Well, I was going to ask you that. Is it still that way where there are a lot of people just getting up trying to get their own sitcom, and like,
Yeah.
whereas New York, say what you want about New York, but you knew you'd walk in a room and you could be in front of comics going, oh my God, this guy's great.
Yeah.
This guy's great.
Yeah, you get your legs in Manhattan, and I always tell these kids, I'm like, go to New York, live with 4 other comics in some crappy apartment in Astoria, and just get good. Work at a club, hand out flyers. I mean, that's what New York does. New York makes you a beast of a stand-up. But what's great about LA though, you'll be on stage and you'll do 7 minutes at Flappers or something, and then somebody from Warner Brothers will come up and just start talking to you. Whereas in New York, I'd crush every night. Nobody ever came up to me.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? New York City for the last 25 years easily, no industry ever came in the room.
No, nobody. I mean,
So
I hear
weird.
stories like Fallon was in a club once, or somebody here and there. I mean, it happens occasionally, but it's been a long time. Nobody hangs out at the clubs anymore like they used to. There was a time.
There was a time. Yeah.
But it's definitely, no Johnny Carson moments,
No. Well, I thought it was funny with Somerville, when he got Letterman because he was at a place in Queens that he
there was like 6 people in the rain or something.
One of the producers or something happened to be in the room, not even to see comedy, just to hang out, and was like, hey, here's my card, or give me a card, or whatever. It's like, really it was like some open mic in Queens, and that's how it happened. All right.
That's how Bergazzi got Tonight Show. Fallon happened to be like in the stand or something, just like,
oh really?
Yeah, he was drinking at the bar, and then he just decided to kind of check out the show, and then so it's like, you never know, but that's that's just one of those things.
It's rare.
Serendipity, as they call it, I guess.
Yeah, that's how I got this podcast. Mark saw me.
I was like, that guy can talk.
Mark was at a raffle show, and he's like, we should do it.
That guy can eat on camera.
That should be the show. You guys just eat on camera.
I think he's right. I think we should eat every show.
I think it'd be huge. I guarantee it. You do that shit on TikTok, just eating.
Yeah. Watch these 2 fat comics eat sandwiches. It's great.
You'd be surprised. You'll get an audience.
I know. You're right, Dustin.
We make fun of stuff, and then you're like, no, that would work.
Another question. They kept asking me about podcasts. Like, who do you listen to? Who do you listen to? And it's like, again, the anxiety of listening to comedians that we know drives me nuts.
Yeah, I'm surprised you guys still do this podcast. I mean, it's funny.
So is the public.
Yeah.
Because I had a really good podcast. I'll leave you with this. I interviewed comics. Like, it was fun. It was cool. But it's like, after a while, though, I kind of got I got tired of talking about stand-up comedy with other comedians. I was kind of burned out,
Yeah, we're trying to go away from that.
I shifted into like music. I do Dustin's Vinyl on Twitch, and we just talk like albums. I'm a big vinyl collector and stuff. So we talk about music and going into record stores and stuff. It was just something that, like, it was another piece of me that is enjoyable, and I was able to share that. But it's tough sometimes. You're like, all right, how many hell gig stories can I listen to?
Right.
Yeah. Well, we actually shifted and started talking to writers and actors.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
The only reason you're here is because we forgot to book somebody this week.
Well, you and I talked, and I was
like to
next
tell you
time
I'm
we have
joking.
a show, we have to get Dustin
No,
on.
I'm just a whore. I was just like, I gotta get this, promo code out for Dry Bar, so I can make some money. Yeah.
Explain, because even I'm not sure. How does Dry Bar work? Can you explain Dry Bar?
Okay, I'll try.
Because it's so big now. It really has become the
Dry Bar, originally, I believe they just kind of produced specials and then kind of put them on YouTube or whatnot, and people got a lot of hits. So their algorithm was off the charts, and they would get a lot of hits. Now they there's kind of like, they have almost like a Netflix app kind of thing, where it's like you download the app, and then you have a subscription, and you can like have it for the year or whatever, and you just watch all these comics. You have access to all their specials. And also, I think they have a direct TV satellite channel, like it's on the direct TV thing. So yeah, but like, for example, if you want to see my special, it would help me out if you've never done Dry Bar, is go to Dry Bar, download the app. The promo code is Dustin Chafin, my name, and you get a free month of Dry Bar, so you can watch all the specials. You can watch my special. There's some really great comedy on there. And so so basically now it's an app, and it's a thing like Crackle or whatever those things are on our Apple TV. I don't understand half of it, but you just click it and you're like, oh, that's a movie I hadn't seen Bruce Willis in. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those kind of things. But but it's cool. It's everything comedy. There's a lot of great stand-ups on there.
Yeah, no, I mean that's and good for them. They really have blown up. I mean. It's
It's I'm so happy because right now the thing is everybody's producing their own special. I feel like my mom has a special coming out. Like everybody
special anymore.
Everybody's like, oh, I got a special. I'm recording a special. People throw that word around pretty loosely. Special.
Now we can just
album.
call it a taping.
Yeah, album, headliner. Like, there's a lot of words people throw around really loosely these days.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
Even comedian. Like, people are like, I'm a comedian. I've done 7 open mics. I'm like, really, dude? It's like, I barely call myself a comedian now.
You're a comedian?
It's funny. Like, it's funny you say that, Dustin, because when I started in the business, if you told someone you were a comedian, they were like, really? Like, they never met one. They didn't know. Now, it's like, oh, my cousin's a comedian. My brother-in-law's, and you're like, well, wait, and they're like, no, he played at Caroline's, and you're like, well, what day did he play at Caroline's?
What day exactly?
If it's a Monday, I don't want to hear
Tuesday. Okay.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But
so
like,
when he played there, and you got a ticket, did you have to tell the person at the front who you were there to see?
Yeah.
My standard is does the IRS know that you're a comedian?
Yeah, exactly.
Because if your taxes go out that you're a comedian, then you're a comedian.
Yeah, I mean, the IRS still doubts me. They're like, really, dude? Send us a tape. Could you send us a tape?
I didn't say they know you're a good comedian.
Well, you know what it is? The IRS hasn't had time to go to Dry Bar yet. So
yeah. Look at that. I'll be like, hey, could you just check it out?
The IRS doubts me.
But the thing is with the Dry Bar thing is like I was just happy because I was going to go the route of doing this particular. It's a big chunk of stuff I've been doing for a long time, and so I kind of wanted to just get it out there so I can write a new act. You get so tired of your act, but then you're so reliant on it because it works, and so you're like So this forces me to kind of create a new hour or whatever.
It's true.
30.
You ever on stage? You just start to go into a bit, and you think, if I get any deeper, I actually have to do this. Like, I mean, my bits are longer, but like you're like, if like I'll go. So I saw my best friend. You're like, if I go any further with this, I'm committed for the next 5.5 minutes of this bit, and I don't know if I can hear it again.
But you're so good at that, Richie. Like, you have this way of you could just kind of read the phone book. Like, you could just do whatever, dude. Like, it's like people love listening to you.
The only thing I'm more bored of, the only act I'm more bored of than mine is Mark Riccadonna's, to be honest with you. So.
Well, and my act is partially his act.
I call that a Keegan.
Keegan, what's Keegan doing?
Keegan's doing good, man. He's working
keto?
a lot.
What's he doing?
Huh? No, he's lost a lot of weight. He's actually lost a lot of weight. He quit drinking for a while, and he's trying really hard. So he's lost a lot.
I love that kid.
I actually told him, I go, you were cuter when you were fatter.
Oh yeah, it's weird when people get thin.
Yeah.
Al Roker still freaks me out.
Yeah.
Al Sharpton, forget it, dude. That guy, dude, you look so good when you were like plump in a tracksuit with your Jerry curl. You look ridiculous now. It's like you crypt keeper, freaking freedom fighter. Like, it's just.
Well, I've always said that Keegan is the Al Sharpton of comedy. Just blames the white man for everything.
Exactly. It only works for my crowd. I get it.
Now, when you're working out in LA now, are there a lot of suburban clubs that you can play that you're making money, or do you have to go, like here, you can go to Connecticut, you can go to Jersey, you can go to Westchester. Is it the same thing in LA?
Yeah, it is. It's taken me I feel like I'm just now getting my rhythm with things here in California. I'm still, I was so like kind of just established in New York and could work everywhere, and I knew everybody. And so, it takes a while to do that. But out here it's Santa Clarita, it's San Diego,
Right.
it's that kind of thing, and so it has a tri-state feel where you can
Okay.
just do
That's
like
good.
a San Diego gig or like a Santa Clarita or something. So yeah, you can go drive 40 minutes or an hour and do a gig. So there's a little bit of that. The clubs are good. I like the Ha Ha. It feels like a New York comedy club, like it's an old school kind of 80s vibe to it. So there's good clubs out here. You just got to, I'm at the Factory next week and things like that. So, I'm still pushing forward, but it's definitely just like anywhere else. You still got to, you never stop hustling.
I didn't. It's so funny. I had no idea you were out there for two. I knew you were out there, but it felt like a few months ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just, it's funny because, Leah's Bonema, she's my girl. She's a comedian as well. And we were just like, let's just get out of Queens and do something different. And I was ready to, to not book clubs anymore and do stuff. And so it's just like, and we came in kind of on the tail end of kind of the pandemic stuff. And it was like, we got a really good deal on a place. And like, cause everybody was moving to Austin, LA, everybody was just exiting LA and moving home or moving to Austin. So we were like, there was all this space and a great place. They got a pool and a brand new Kia, and a dog. And like, I'm like, yeah, this is an adult life. Because I feel like in New York, sometimes you feel like you're in college, you got a small apartment, you're just like, you're taking public transportation. Whereas in LA, you feel kind of like an adult. It's like, oh, I can just drive to Costco and, like you guys live outside the city, so you probably have that. But I never had that really.
Right. So, no, I understand.
No, when we moved to PA, it was like, oh my God, I feel like this is what life's supposed to be. Like you're allowed to enjoy it. And not every time you walk out of your house, your wallet gets sucked out into the.
Yeah, you're supposed to be able to buy a pallet of mayonnaise for like $40. I mean, that's what life is about.
That mayonnaise.
And then the weather, dude.
Great. Now I'm hungry.
I love it. I mean, just the canyon and going to the beach. We go to a dog beach and stuff like that. I saw Gary Busey with his dog and stuff like that. It's just hilarious. His dog is a little jacked up too. It was really
His dog was picking up Gary's shit.
But I definitely love it.
That's awesome, man. That's
great. Do you have a joke for us? We didn't do the joke or the drink today, Mark.
That's true.
I'm drinking water.
Here's what
do we do?
Dustin's not a drinker, right?
No, I was a good drinker. Though.
You were a good drinker.
Proud of me, Richie. I was good.
I
was solid. I was a solid drinker.
Yes, I remember when you were a drinker. I did.
They hung Dustin's jersey up in the rafters of the Boston Comedy Club.
I'm using that exactly. They hung my jersey. That's so funny, dude. I'm stealing that.
Yours.
That's amazing. Yeah, exactly. That's I have flags, the
How long
postseason.
you been sober? It's like 17 years?
It'll be 15 coming up in June. Yeah.
Wow, congrats.
Wow.
I'm miserable.
Well,
but
I'm 13 today.
Are you really?
Days.
No, you're not.
Days.
AIDS?
Days. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, days and AIDS.
No, days. AIDS.
This took a weird turn.
13 years with AIDS.
No,
you look great, dude.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Well,
I wish you told me that before we shared that needle.
Yeah. That was a needle, Mark.
Well, see, New York's fun again. I might come back. I'm a big, I don't know, Mark, you both are big rock guys and stuff.
Yes.
And so I was at the Rainbow Room, which is the house of Lenny, Lemmy, sorry, and Motorhead and all that stuff. And they had an AA meeting at the top floor, and it was the weirdest thing to do an AA meeting at the Rainbow Room.
Wow!
I'm looking over to the left. There's just whiskey bottles everywhere.
Wow!
I could literally jump over the bar and just start swigging whiskey at this AA meeting. It was so fun.
That's really weird. I have a bit in my act where I say that this is like going into AA meeting in a bar. That's the punchline.
Oh, yeah.
And I never realized that actually happened.
I mean, L.A., I guess, is the only place I've ever seen it. I'm like, this is ridiculous, dude. You don't do a Weight Watchers at a donut shop,
Right.
But apparently they did it here, and I was like, what is happening?
Then this is a tribute to you, Dustin, is whenever I think of rock and roll comedy, it's you and Jameson are the two people that are always the first ones that come to my mind.
Yeah. I wore leather
Craig
pants.
Gass is probably going to hate me for saying that I didn't include him.
You know, Craig he's pushing the agenda too much. You know? It's like, I hung out with Gene Simmons. You're like, okay, dude, we get it. Nobody's doubting that you're not the rock guy. You know, I'm a little more subtle about it. You know,
that is so true. So okay, so now we're gonna lose him and Monty. We'll never get them on the show.
Are you kidding? Well, I always going to crucify me is all they're going to do, which I encourage. Like I'm an easy target. That's why I never did roast or anything, because people are just going to spend 4 minutes on my cowboy hat. Yeah. I'm not going to do that, dude.
Well, I always laugh because anybody who does impersonations has to get famous, or their impersonations are like boring because they're like, can you imagine if this famous person did this? So it's like, if you become famous, then you can tell stories about hanging out with them and then do the impression. But open mic impersonators have to like put people in scenarios.
Yeah.
I
guess.
I don't know.
One of the things I loved about Richard Pryor, was that he'd be in a bit and then he'd say something like John Wayne and he'd go into a John Wayne imitation, or he'd say, and you just sit there going, man, that's so brilliant. He wasn't going, imagine John Wayne. Like, he'd just go, it's like I'm John Wayne. And then he'd go into a bit, go into the imitation. You're like, wow, that's tremendous. Like, I just think I love when comics can do that. But I don't really love the whole, imagine if Jack Nicholson was a nun. Then you're like.
What's the Dennis Miller bit when he goes, imagine Jack Nicholson working at a Burger King. And he was like, yeah. He's the greatest actor of all time. And if you keep doing this bit, I could imagine you working at Burger King.
Yeah, he had some funny stuff. He called Dice Fonzie with Tourette's. Like, he was always testing on people.
Well, my favorite, remember when he got hired to be an announcer on Monday Night Football?
Oh, I loved
it.
Oh, it was so bad.
I
loved it.
Great. It was great how bad it was.
It was the Jets were playing the Patriots. And he said, this is before the game. He said, well, the Jets offensive lineman, the Patriots offensive lineman, Damian Woody, said that blah, blah, blah. And he goes, and the Jets owner, Woody Johnson, said blah, blah, blah. And he goes, so I think really what this game is going to come down to is who has the biggest Woody. He got in so much trouble for that. And it was like, but you hired him for this reason. You didn't hire him for his great analysis on the game. He did a dick joke, and it was funny.
It's funny. I just got exposed a little bit to like, we were watching that stupid Jake Paul fight or whatever, and it's like, it's like a lot of this stuff is so ridiculous, these sports stuff. But Barstool Sports, I don't know if you've ever seen like their fights. They'll just do like a 300-pound, dude that works at Burger King, and they'll do another guy that's like a Trump supporter, and they'll just get him in there and they'll fight it out and whatever. But it's just ridiculous things. And then the commentators are always just like, but they talk the way sports fans talk. And they'll be like, this fatso over here.
Right.
And so what's cool about Barstools is like, it's how we talk as sports fans. And then like everybody tries to be elite, like ESPN and Monday Night Football. It's like, no, dude, the guys are actually watching the freaking game talk like this. And so people like, try to make it more prestige and like, shut up, dude. It's sports. It's men hitting each other. That's all it is.
Right. Right.
I remember Dennis Miller said, the Raiders are playing so bad, it's like they have the patch on the wrong eye.
That's amazing.
That's funny. And you know what I hated about that, though? What was his name? Michaels. Al Michaels. Rather than sit back and let Dennis Miller be Dennis Miller, he always tried to be as funny or even one-up him. He always, and he was sitting there going, dude, it's called getting your wheelhouse, man. What are you doing, man?
Al Michaels, you're only here because you have a golden voice. You
I
know
mean,
nothing. You
right.
know nothing.
Right, and I think it would have worked a lot better if he had just let Dennis Miller do his thing, but he always had to get in his own, like, oh, and you know what else? You're like, dude, not funny. I mean, stop. You're not a comic. Don't be. I can't stand when.
Yeah, I wonder what would have happened if they'd kind of let that, air out a little.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the thing is, you got to give them, you got to let people find their rhythm. Like, I'm sure you would have been great at it 2 years later.
Yeah.
But the first, year is going to be rough. You're going to figure it out and try and error.
They're letting the Manning brothers air it out.
Yeah.
I think they're doing good now.
The Manning brothers.
Oh, the Manning brothers. Yeah, I mean, they're, they kind of got this shtick of just, Peyton being this way and Manning being, they figured out just because we're just bombarded with them. It's like, every freaking commercial and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, it's kind of fun. It is fun, but I don't know. I think I got about a year left on the Manning brothers.
Yeah.
And I think we need to move on maybe to the other brothers, the ones that just played in the Super Bowl. We'll try them or something.
The Kelsey brothers.
Get to watch the three of them.
Well, Travis Kelsey just hosted Saturday Night Live this weekend. So,
he's funny. Yeah,
he is.
His brother doesn't seem as funny, but
no, he's an eagle. They're not funny.
He's a magician. He's on tour before the season.
Dude, I thought that was so hilarious that the Eagles lost because of the fan base was just so angry.
Yeah.
Because they got so cocky. They're so mean to people.
I know, they're so mean.
It's like you show up with a 49ers jersey, they just parade you. You'd be like a child. And they're like throwing cans at them.
I know. It's just ridiculous.
It's like, just calm down, dude. Relax.
Why don't you root for your team and I'll root for mine? And we could just leave it there.
Relax.
I don't understand any of the tribalism of sports. It drives me insane when somebody goes, "Yeah, we got a tough game this week. Are you playing?"
Yeah.
Does the owner know you're on the team?
I mean, I understand that because I talk like that. You're just like, we had a tough. I mean, because you feel like an allegiance to the fan base and whatever and the team, but I don't even mind that. It's just
who's your team?
The Steelers.
We're both Steelers
right?
Yeah. So next year's the year.
Why Steelers?
Huh?
Why Steelers? You're from Texas.
I grew up near the Dallas Cowboys Stadium, and they pushed the Cowboys on me as a kid, and I just couldn't take it. I was just like,
see, this makes me love you.
He became a Mormon.
This just makes me love you.
I'm a rebel, man. I'm a rebel. Like they'd make us buy that stupid McDonald's poster with all the Cowboys on it, and they would make us meet all these Cowboys, and I just got sick of it. And then I think the Steelers were like, I mean, Terry Bradshaw was like, dude, he was like the Jim Carrey of the freaking late 70s.
Yeah.
And he's doing movies and stuff. And then that Mean Joe Green commercial, I was like,
okay.
There's no way. I'm 7. That kid's 7. Like I was like, man, I want that jersey. And, it's like I want Joe Green. I don't know, and they were badass with the black and the gold. I don't know, just something about it. Just ever since I was 7, I've been a fan. So,
all right, good. No, I hate all things Dallas. So all things, I just do, and it has nothing to do with Dallas as much as it does with the idiot fans all over the country. Like wherever you go, there's Dallas fans, and it's like what do you?
I mean, there's idiot fan base in everything.
I understand, but it seems to be more prominent with Dallas.
It is true. Dallas is annoying.
They've won nothing since 1996, and they should just shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
just shut the fuck up.
Dallas, they're really delusional. I have a joke. I say, I really feel next year's the year for Dallas. I really hope next year's the year Jerry Jones dies. Really, because I feel that's when they would win a Super Bowl. He dies, and just crank him out.
They will. You're right. As soon as he dies, they're winning a Super Bowl.
As soon as he dies, yeah. But but I just don't understand when people get like so serious about sports, like when you're the visiting team and stuff. I was at a Giants game, and I love the Giants, and I had full Steelers, and the whole time these people behind me were like, and I had the Pete Davidson seats, so they were good seats.
Pete Davidson.
That's when he used to text me back. I have loyalty to celebrities only if they text me back. And so he was, these guys were like hammering me the whole time. And at one point, I was like, "Look, dude, we don't even play each other." And I think that we're family.
They are. Their
wedding.
families are married to each other.
And I was like, "Dude, what are you doing?" I was like, "Stop, dude. It's not like I'm, the freaking Eagles right now. Like I'm wearing the Steelers. Like we barely play." And so it was really uncomfortable. So we left, and the Steelers were losing, and we left, and we're walking down, trying to almost exiting the stadium, and then I look up. And Wallace or somebody caught a pass and made a touchdown, and so they were about to win. And so I ran all the way back, like literally, it was like 5 minutes to get back to my seat, and I was like, bah! And then I just came back down. We were almost in the parking lot. My girl was like, I said, no, I got to go back to those seats. Right
I think I left something.
Yeah. I ran up there. I was like, you son of a bitch.
Dustin, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, buddy. So yeah, everybody, check out my special. Cranky Pants comes out Thursday, March 9th. I don't know if this is going to air later. Whatever.
It'll be later. So
okay,
but this Thursday, that's great.
You can still catch it. You still catch it on Dry Bar. And, use the promo code Dustin Chafin. You get a free month. All right, thanks, guys.
Cool.
Awesome. We got to do this again. We got
absolutely, bro.
Doing podcasting. We should hang out.
Cool.
I would love that.
Yeah, let's do it.
And that's Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling.
God. But so it's awesome.